Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Steve. It's springtime, and you know what that means. Baseball. Today is a review for MLB 14 The Show for the PlayStation 3. So let's get to it. So I've had MLB 14 The Show for about a week and a half now, and I was actually going to wait until I did this video before I actually opened it up and did any gameplay on it, because I want to do an honest review. But I couldn't help myself. I decided to go ahead and play a couple games. I'm in spring training, and that actually kind of helps me because it gives me a little bit more feel for the game, and that helps you get a better understanding for what you're about to get into. So let's take a look at the gameplay and everything, and we'll go from there. So as we're getting started here, we're at the intro screen for the game. We're actually on the PlayStation 3 logon, and it's showing the game. Now the first thing I do want to bring up is this game does not come with an instruction booklet. When you open the case up, all you're going to find inside is the game. The instruction book, as I've seen with quite a few other games, is an additional file, a digital file, that's actually on the game disc. So as you see right here, you can access it by just clicking it, pressing X 2 times, and that brings you in. Actually, this is it installing. Now, one of the things that I absolutely love about this game so far is just the intro. I'm going to go ahead and let it play, or let a little of it play, so you get a feel for how the game opens up. The graphics in it look very good. I mean, from everything as far as the animations, the swing, you know, the pitch, the guys running the field, animations when you hit a home run, the guy comes around third and high fives his teammate. Everything looks good, even the crowd. And I'm going to touch on a little bit of stuff about the crowd in a few. Alright, so as you see, it's got both the American League and the National League Rookie of the Year on there. Another thing you're going to find out when you first start this game up, the first thing it's going to do is start searching for updates. So when you first get it and put it in, expect to have to do a short update. Another thing you'll notice is that whenever you start the game, it does an online scan to see if there are any updates to the roster. So I think that's awesome. It fits right in with some of the things that you can do with like games like NBA 2K series. This does the same thing. Now another thing you're going to notice right here, it says MLB 14 The Show has been optimized to run at 720p. And it tells you to adjust your PlayStation 3 as well as your TV accordingly. I didn't make any adjustments to mine, and I haven't found any major issues as far as display or anything. So that's just something to be aware of. Now here's the main menu. Here you can access all of the different features that are in the game. One of the things right here, when you get to like the quick menu, play now, up here in the upper left hand corner, you see that you have the option to play an exhibition game. You can play the show live. You can do online rated and online exhibition, and that's one of the other great features. This game does support the ability to play both online exhibition and online seasons. And if you play a season, you can actually play it online against another person, or you and another, say for instance, you and a friend, you guys can both play on the same team for a season. Alright, so next, actually let's go into that and see what some of the stuff looks like. So here's how it looks when you actually go into it. This is what the menu looks like. So you've got your exhibition here, the show live, you've got your online rated, and then your online exhibition. And that's it for your quick menu. Alright, next you've got your franchise mode, and this is where I like to be. This is where I play a lot of my games. I'm actually playing a franchise now, and I'm playing with the Brewers. I'm actually from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I haven't lived there though since 1991. But most times whenever I play a sports game, with the exception of NBA games, I usually play with Wisconsin teams. So if I'm playing college football, it'll be the Badgers. If it's NFL, the Packers. But with the NBA, I'm with LA. So anyway, here in your franchise mode, you can play a single person franchise season or franchise series. You can play an online franchise, which, as I told you before, you can actually play against another person or with someone else on the same team. Or you can just play a regular season. Now, one of the things I like about this is it does give you the ability to manage the player as well as their contracts, trades. You can fire the coach mid-season and replace him with somebody else. It's a lot of good features. One of the things that I noticed that a lot of people were talking about, they were wondering whether or not there is the option to be able to set prices for like stadium rebuilds or concessions. That's not available in this particular game. I believe it was in past editions, but it's not in this one. All right, next you have your Diamond Dynasty. Now this is a multiplayer mode. Basically what it tells you up here, it says massive multiplayer online mode where success depends on your managerial expertise and your skill or strategy against your competitors. Now let me go back to franchise and just playing in general. One of the things that I guess a lot of people had issues with was the long times with, the long time that it takes to play a game. If you're familiar with like NBA or NFL, if you play a regular full game, like for NFL, is 12-minute quarters. So you're going to be, 15-minute quarters. So you're going to end up playing an hour. With the NBA, it's going to be 12-minute quarters. So that comes out to 48 minutes. But with timeouts and everything else, it ends up being over an hour. So a lot of people had issues with that. So with these issues, the way the MLB 14, the show, deals with it is they have two things in game. One is what's called quick counts, and another is called player locks. Now with quick counts, what it'll do is it'll start you, you'll play as each player, but it'll start you midway through a count. So you'll come up and it'll be something like, the call will be 1 and 2, and you have to play that particular hit. You don't have to go through each and every pitch for every player on your team. Another thing is player lock. Now what this does is it'll focus, you'll pick whatever player you want on whatever team you're using, and the focus will be strictly on that player. So it'll deal with just that player fielding the ball and then just that player swinging. And that way when you're done, the game goes by a little quicker. Now another thing, it also has the ability to save mid-game. So if you want to come back later, say for instance, if you start playing a game and you have to leave and you want to come back later, you can just save it and come back. And that's something that I really like. Now for me, I don't really mind the time because when I actually play a game, I make sure I'm setting aside time to actually play. So I don't mind sitting here playing a game for an hour. It's not that big of a deal. As you can see here, one of the things that it shows is it's just giving you a quick demo of the game, and it shows you different positions of the player. It shows you when you start the game, it shows you the starting lineups for each team. Here's a shot of a stadium. And another thing that most people are going to really enjoy is the commentary on this game. Now there's a 3-man commentary booth, and they are very, very accurate. I was playing a game yesterday against the Giants, and their pitcher threw a ball, and when I hit the ball, it actually popped him right on his instep, on his foot. And the commentators immediately picked up on that, and they said, the player might be injured, but it appears he's going to try and gut it out. So that was something that, I thought was really good, the commentary. It's dead on in this game. And as you can see here, it looks pretty good. I mean, there's no pixelation of anything. It's not choppy. It's a pretty good flow. One of the issues that I do have with it is I'm used to games with some animation. Now, I've got the sound down low now because I'm talking, but you can hear the crowd in the background. They're cheering, and this guy just got struck out. You can hear it. The crowd kind of cheered a little bit. But one of the things that I didn't like, and maybe it's just because I'm still in spring training, but I noticed in the 2 games that I've played, I've hit home runs, and nobody cheered. There wasn't any, animation where the crowd was cheering. There was, fireworks on the scoreboard or anything. It was just, I hit the ball. They show my guy running the bases. They show a replay of the shot. My guy comes around third and he high fives his teammate and he comes on home. Now, the good thing about that is afterwards they show the actual swing and then superimpose it on like a Topps trading card. And it looks pretty cool when they do it. But I was just a little dismayed that there was no, excitement, for a home run. I mean, that's one of the highlights of baseball. And there was absolutely no response. But again, I don't know if that's just because it's a preseason game or what. Another thing that I noticed in the game that I was playing yesterday is, in real life, when you're watching a baseball game or if you're playing a baseball game, they don't normally substitute their pitchers every single inning. And like I said, I was playing with the Brewers against the Giants. And for the first maybe 3 innings, the Giants kept the same pitcher in. Well, he gave up 5 runs at one point. And, of course, the manager came out, yanked him, put a new guy on. Well, the next time the Giants went to the outfield, they subbed. And this kept going every inning. Every time they came up to bat, or every time they went out in the outfield, this kept going until the end of the game. Now, I don't know if that was just that game, because it didn't happen in the first game that I played. So I don't know if that was just a glitch in that game or if that's something that, they just did or what. But I thought it was a little weird. Let me go back to the menu here, because there's a couple things that I want to cover. Now, it does have a soundtrack on there, and you can actually pick which songs you want to listen to, or you can turn them all off. I'm not sure if you can actually load your own music. I haven't gone that far into it yet, but I probably will go on and check it out. Now here, we've got Road to the Show, and this is a single player mode that's focused on your created player. And basically what it does is it takes, like, if you create your player, it takes your player and it places him in like a 3-game set. And during that time, he's evaluated by scouts, and that determines if you'll be drafted and in what round. All right, and then you just go from there playing your particular player. You play out his career. I haven't played that before. Not sure if I'm going to play it just yet. I'm really hooked on my franchise right now. I really enjoy that. But that's Road to the Show. The next game mode here in the middle, these are mini modes. Now, of course, you have practice. If you're like me, you're just getting back into baseball games after a while, or if you've never played a baseball game before, I'd recommend you start here in the practice mode so you can get a feel for how to swing, how to feel the ball and everything. Because it's pretty intuitive. I mean, once you get up to swing, the timing, when you press the button to swing, he swings. And if you do it early, he's going to swing early. If you do it late, you're going to strike. So it's pretty intuitive. It's not too difficult, but I still would recommend, if you're just getting back into it or if you're new, check out practice. Next, you have postseason. Of course, we know what that is. Major League Baseball postseason. You can go in there and start up. You can play through the postseason. Next, you have the Home Run Derby. Now, we know what this is. We see this at the All-Star game every year. It's just a standalone feature here on the game that you can actually get into and do. Let's check it out here. Now, we're going to do one offline. And you just scroll through and decide who you want to use. We're going to use real quick AJ Pierzynski. Okay, so it's telling me I got to have 2 players in the lineup. So we are going to let's take David Ortiz. Alright. Alright, and then it places you in target field. You adjust the number of outs. We're going to set it at 3. And it shows you their at-bat home run here and their power. And it's loading up. Alright, so it loads these 2 guys up as in the final round of the Home Run Derby. And you get a nice shot here of target field. Looks really good. Alright, so it tells you here the rules. So up first is AJ Pierzynski. Okay, and he got one. That's an out. He didn't quite make it. All right, he got another. All right, next up is David Ortiz. Oh. He's hitting some high balls here. But he's putting them out the park. You can see at the bottom here it shows how many feet. Alright. Now you can see that a little bit better in the bottom left hand corner. You can see how many feet it was, and he won. So it shows his longest, 429 feet, and the total number of home runs that he hit. Next up, you've got batting practice. Of course, we know what that is. You can practice your swing. Next up, you've got pitching practice. Now, here is the challenge of the week. I'm not sure what that is. I haven't done it before. This is something, I guess it's online. It says, please scroll to the bottom and select accept to proceed. Stay tuned for dates, information, rules, and details about challenge of the week. Alright, so we're not going to do that right now. And then next you have community challenges. Now in this, it's basically testing your skills in a variety of custom challenges that are built from scratch by different people in the MLB 14 community. So let's check out what some of the challenges are. Now this one here, at the top, we've got a guy, and his challenge is hit a grand slam to complete Pence's record-setting game. Alright, so I mean, you just go through there and pick out different challenges that the MLB 14 community puts up. Next, here are the online community things. Up first, you've got your game rooms, you've got leaderboards, you've got media, and here this actually shows you announcements from MajorLeagueBaseball.com, both in the news and on Twitter. Underneath that, you've got a player vault, roster vault, slider vault, and logo vault. Next to that, you've got a universal profile, and then you've got game history. All right, next, you've got your options. Now here, your user settings, you can go in and set sliders as well as gameplay options. So here, you know, it lets you set your hitting difficulty, hitting interface, and as you can see on mine, I've got mine on beginner. And I just want to say something about that really quick. I chose beginner because, like I said, it's been a long time since I played a baseball game. And one of the things I got frustrated with is that, you know, in times past, you could set it on beginner, and, you know, months later, you're pretty much a master whether you're hitting or pitching, and you're just basically having, you know, home run slugfest. Well, this game is not like that. You know, you can set this on beginner, and what happens is the game actually adjusts to your play. So while it may start out beginner, it slowly adjusts, and it doesn't just do one major adjustment and you're done, but it actually adjusts both your hitting, your pitching, and your fielding. So you could possibly improve your hitting and, you know, end up being an intermediate hitter, but your fielding could suck. And so you might still be a beginner in your fielding, and your pitching might be average. So it takes everything that you're doing into account. Your fielding, your angle of how you hit the ball, your stance, everything. It takes all of that into account here. So coming back here to this setting here, you've also got hitting interface. Here, this is lock, plate coverage indicator. It says set the batter's plate coverage indicator to on or off. If the hitting interface option is set to timing, this option will be locked and ignored. So because we've got this set to timing, These two are going to be off. Next, you've got your pitching. For pitching, you've got your pitching difficulty, your pitching interface. Next, you've got your pulse meter, which here is locked. You've got your pitching view, pitching ball marker, and then pitch confidence. Your throwing interface, your throwing meter, throwing difficulty, this is off. In-play view defense is set to dynamics. Throw canceling right now, that's off. That brings us back to general, which talks about your strike zones. You can turn them on or off. Hot zones. Next, you got warm-up pitchers. It says when on, your pitcher will not be fully warm when entering the game, and you will have a chance to throw 8 warm-up pitches from the mound. You got tutorial tips that's on. Post-game autosave, which is awesome. I was playing a game the other day, and after I finished it, I forgot to save and went back to the main screen, and it was then that I saw the autosave going, and it really makes you thankful and appreciative to the fact that games are now putting these post-game autosaves in there. So really thankful for that. And then this brings you back to the first menu screen that we were looking at. Alright, so next you've got your presentation options. And like I said, I've got mine set for broadcast. I kind of like it with the 3-man team that they have. Here you can turn on or off the batter walk up. If you want to see your batter come up to the plate, you can turn it on. If not, turn it off. The in-game ticker, if you can see at the bottom of the screen right now, there's a ticker going. It'll show you all of that, not just game-wise, but it actually shows you what's really happened in Major League Baseball as it's pulling it from MLB.com. Next, you can turn on or off closed captioning. Mode updates. When this is on, you'll get updates for your current season. They'll display once every half inning, and then occasional updates will display in the 2nd, 5th, and 8th. And this excludes spring training, postseason, and minor league updates. Those are not included in there. And of course, it's got to be on in order for you to get it. MajorLeagueBaseball.com updates. If you turn that on, like I said before, it'll provide live MLB updates. So you kind of want to get that. That was something that I came to enjoy on NBA 2K13. There's a ticker in there that actually shows you live games that may be on. So like I got that game, NBA 2K13. I got it a few months ago, and even though I'm playing an early part of a season, it's showing me ticker information from what's actually happening in the NBA now. And this here works the same way, this MLB.com update. Alright, so next you've got your audio and video options. You can adjust this. What this does, Simulview, it gives each player their own viewing screen of the game. Now that's if you've got more than one person playing. Next you've got, down here you've got your 3-man commentary team. You can adjust their speech volume. I leave it turned up because I like their commentary. They're pretty spot on. They're right in the game. This is probably the best commentary that I've heard for any sports game. You don't hear a lot of repetitive commentary, but then again, I'm only 3 games into spring trainings, and I haven't heard a lot of repeats. I haven't heard a lot of, well, last season this person averaged this and this is what they did. I haven't heard a lot of that. They're really focused on the game that's on, at that particular time. And as I stated, they're pretty good even as far as injuries, and they're really accurate as far as what's going on at that particular time. Next, you can adjust the public address announcers volume, the music volume, sound effects, crowd, and music reverb, and then music mode. Next, you've got audio clips. It says when on, the audio clips will only be heard in the front end menu. So we've got it. I'm going to leave it on. Next, you can adjust the horizontal position and size of the screen, as well as the vertical, and then that brings us back to the top. Now here's where you go to actually save your games. Or not save your games, but save any changes you may make. Alright, so here this talks a little bit about the road to the show, and it talks about the presentation style. The same presentation styles as franchise, broadcast, or first person. Alright, and then you've got Road to the Show controller type. We've got a set for wireless controller, but it's locked anyway. In order to use that, you've got to have a motion controller. Alright, and here it goes into pregame batting practice. Now all of this has to do with Road to the Show. So as you make adjustments to this, wait a minute. I take that back, not all of it. There's a good portion of it that has to do with Road to the Show. When we come down here, it starts dealing with scouting, drafting, waivers, and all of this type of stuff. This is where you can adjust, really get into the heart of your franchise and start determining who does what, whether or not you do certain things or the computer does it. Alright, so we want to, once it comes out, it gives you the option to save those changes. Alright, and see, we had an announcement down there at the bottom that there was a well, right here, a server update. Before that, it was something about the rosters. I didn't catch it all. Here, your game control just basically shows you which buttons do what. You've got roster control here, and then you've got the ability to create and edit players. And then last, you've got your data utility screen. This is where you can save your current team's info. You can load your franchise. You can delete it. You can delete all the game data off your PS3 here, and then you can save your live rosters. And once you hit right one again, it brings you back to the main screen. Alright, so I'm going to go into franchise here and show a little bit of something, a little bit about swinging. You've got your, you're going to swing using the buttons here. Now this is a PlayStation 3 controller. A regular check swing is just tapping this button. You're going to bump with triangle, and then a power swing is with your square button. Now I just found some of this out by actually going through the book a little bit. Alright, so when we look at the schedule here, you see we're up against the Rockies. Alright, we just finished a game against the Dodgers, which we barely won. 1-0. View organization's games, and then we're going to play the game. I don't want to wear, just wear a throwback uniform. No. We'll go with the road. There we go. Here's where you can adjust whether or not you want to play with quick counts. I don't want that. I'm not going to use it. I want the full game. I want the broadcast presentation mode, and it's overcast. Alright. Here it shows you the starting pitchers, their records.
Field at the foot of the Rocky Mountains. MLB The Show is on the air. Today we get closer to the start of the new season with exhibition baseball between the Brewers and the Colorado Rockies.
Presentation is really nice on here.
Hello again, everyone. Welcome to our spring training coverage of Baseball on the Show. Let's have a look at the starting lineup for the visiting Milwaukee Brewers. Ron Redicky has his guys lined up like this.
And here come the Brewers. Matt Garza's got a pretty good batting average too for a pitcher.
These guys, there you see the numbers for the big left-hander, Brett Anderson.
All right, we see them out doing a little warm-up. And here's Gene Segura.
And this is going to be a foul ball.
See if we can do something else with that.
Now a ground ball towards the hole. Oh, and he can't come up with
wow.
it. And he'll reach first safely.
Now you see I won't say a lot of it, but compared to what you may be used to, you see guys in outfield often running past the ball. It's a little weird.
Chris Davis will take his cuts now. First pitch fastball. A runner at first with no outs here. Now a fastball driven on a line out to left. This is going
That
to
may be a
split the
double.
gap and get down for extra bases.
Oh, he's going for the score.
Third heading for the plate. And the opening salvo is fired here.
And here we go.
1-0 lead.
Well, that didn't take long. You get the leadoff single to start off the game, and then you follow that up with a two-base hit. They're already on the scoreboard, just 2 batters into the ballgame.
Ryan Braun will stand in looking to keep this first inning.
All right, so I'm going to pause it here. All right, folks, that's it. It's MLB 14, the show for the PlayStation 3. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button. Please do subscribe and let me know what you think down in the comment section below. And I'll see you in the next video. Later.